Amazing times, amazing times. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, this is just an amazing opportunity to be able to be here in front of you today and to just share my story with you. I mean, I've been sharing my story in so many different ways. And those of you who don't know me, my name is Leah and Leah M. Molai. Kiwana Muzwana Mumarapiani in the beautiful South Africa. And those who know me from home call me Lesego. And I'm really excited. Ke Lesego go ba le lona today. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for joining in. I would definitely love to see you guys on the comments. Please do give access to StreamYard to be able to see your name so I can interact with you, so I can see your comments and I can see what you're doing. I'm really excited. So I'm just going to keep it brief for today and just let you know what the role of this whole thing is today. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about who I am, what I do, and why I'm here, and why we have this amazing group of people called medical technologists. We work together with medical technicians, medical scientists, lab assistants. We're all one, pathologists, and all of those things. So I'm basically qualified as a medical technologist. Right now, I work as an application specialist in one of the global companies. And what basically that means is I help the people in the lab work and do what they need to do, fix their instruments, help them with their QCs, and give them training on how to use them properly so they can give you the best results on the best working instrument. So let's just get to it and kickstart and tell you who exactly is Leah Emily. Keep those comments coming, share the live so we can all be in here together. So basically, who is Leah? I've told you a little bit about myself. So I am Leah M. Molai, all the way in South Africa from a small village called Marapiani. You heard it. Village girl right here, village girl right here. So I literally grew up in a village where there was nothing even as internet connection at that time. And I remember I grew up where there was a phone book and one or few houses had a DSTV at that time. And some houses really didn't even have TV at all. And for us to be doing this live, that's just something else. I'm really excited to be able to share with you what my journey has been from the time I grew up as a little girl in a small village in Marapiani in South Africa all the way to where I am right now. So if you're excited by the fact that I am an application specialist right now in a global company, I also am an author of a newly released book, The Success of Medical Technologists and Trainers, and I will tell you why that is important right now. So you can definitely get a copy of that. But the mandate here is for you to know who I am and why I do what I do, and why we have a specific group called Medical Technologist South Africa, just for those people in the lab so we can connect. So our mandate has been that we want to share information and connect with each other and be able to educate and let everybody else know who we are. So we are literally the heroes behind the heroes. So everybody gets to see the frontliners, they get to see the doctors, they get to see the nurses, but no one ever gets to see the medical technologist. We always have these questions. Hey man, who are you? What do you do? Do you do HIV on, like, people think we only do HIV, people think we only do DNA testing. We do so many things. So we basically work with human samples. There is a section that works with animal samples, and that is more veterinary, but we do deal with a few of those. And there is a forensic side that will deal with those late people. So we work basically with healthy individuals and people who are in a diseased state, who are probably ill, or they've gone to the doctor and they want to know why they're not feeling okay. And we work together with the doctors to diagnose the patient. What does that mean? We get a sample or whatever it is, whether it's blood, whether it's urine, we basically take that and tell you and your doctor what is wrong with you. Now, why is that important? There is power in knowing. Knowledge is power. So if you know what is wrong with you, you will be able to take care of that. You will be able to get medication, you'll be able to get treatment, and you will be definitely able to possibly recover. All right, so that is who we are. That's what we do all the time, right? So just to tell you a little bit of myself, why and how did I end up here? So, like any other child growing up, my mother wanted better for me, and she thought I should be a medical doctor. Who else can resonate with that? Who else can resonate with that? Hit me up in the comments and let me know. Bitumelo, I'm gonna put your we can see it. So hello, Leah from Bitumela. Hello, Bitumela. You are live on the group. You are live on YouTube. You are live on my page. I mean, we absolutely, absolutely love you. And I see there's someone else who says we are here. So please just allow StreamYard to be able to see your name. So like Bitumela went in and gave StreamYard permission to see her name. Bitumela, we absolutely love and appreciate you. I mean, this is just amazing. I'm so happy to have you guys here as my family on here. As I tell you my journey of becoming Leah, growing up in a small town, small village, and now I call myself a small town girl. So I grew up basically there when my mother wanted me to be a medical doctor, and she took me to a private school, which was Settler's Agricultural High School, all the way in Limpopo. So I used to travel every morning. Now we would wake up at 4 to go from Mpumalanga to Limpopo for school. I was a day scholar because my mother could not afford the hostel. I couldn't be a border student, so I had to be a day scholar, but I had to get the same education that other kids were getting. So that was my mother's plan. So one time in grade 11, we have this fortnight that you have to go and literally shadow a person or a career professional who does what you want to do, right? So with good notes, my mother had prepared me. I went into a hospital called Mamitake Hospital, all the way in Malanga. Who else is from there? Yay! So I went in there and I shadowed the doctors, and I was like, I like it, and I don't really like it. The doctors were doing the same thing over and over every time. It was a cut. It was people coming in with like broken arms and all of these things. I really, 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 and blood sight on somebody I could not handle. So as we went on, I liked another side where it was more gynae ops, where we were actually helping people deliver their babies. That was more exciting, but you'd have to study another 100 years for you to do that. So I was like, oh no, that's not for me. And then I don't know if it was just by coincidence or luck or fortune and everything, and God just doing what He needs to do. Thank you so much for joining. We are live. I literally got a chance to take some samples. At that time, I didn't even know it was samples. There was some blood in these tubes, these very colorful tubes. One was yellow, one was green, the other one was purple. I was so fascinated. And there I am in my lab coat with my stethoscope there, thinking I'm a small little doctor. You know, I go in there, and I went anywhere in the hospital, except this one small little window where these people would just not let me in. Here, but I'm the doctor to be. I'm everywhere. I'm delivering babies. I'm doing all these things. I go to see these mortuaries, but I can't go into the what's so special about the small little window. And then I found that this guy was very nice, and I asked him, what exactly do you do? And he's like, well, I'm a medical technologist, so I do all these tests, these blood tests. So doctors will take the blood, and then I will run them and give them the results. I'm like, it was so foreign. I didn't really understand what he was saying, but I was like, yo, this thing sounds interesting. Even doctors could not get into that place. Not even doctor. I was like, no, I want that. You know, I want that. No one told me that they don't earn as much as doctors do. But I was like, no, I'm so excited. And then I was so fortunate that a guy from one of the universities of technology came through to the school, as they would come to literally tell us what options they have for the courses and all of that. And I was fortunate to come in, and one of them was called biomedical technology. And that was how I was introduced to the course. So I knew a little bit about what it was before I went in, and I knew that I wasn't going to be a doctor going in there. So that was really amazing for me to know. There's a lot of people that went into the field without knowing what it is. Put at the comments in there and tell me if you knew what you were getting yourself into before you got into medical technology. Is it that there was no other course left? Is it that the name sounded nice, or you really thought you were going to be a doctor? Put the comments in there. Let me see what you have there on the comments, so we can absolutely interact. Put some more comments. Will be much appreciated. So let me just tell you, continue with my journey. So I went into Tshwane University of Technology, where I did my diploma in medical technology. At that time, it was still a diploma. And then I got my BTech also. This was the first time I knew what a cum laude is. I was like, hello. So cum laude, I was there, so I went and did all my stuff in record time. We really, half the class did not know what the cum laude was. So as much as we were as you know, biomedical students, we at that time didn't know what a cum laude was, but we studied. So we took it one course at a time, and it was Really, really amazing. I was fortunate enough to have such great marks that I got a bursary from one of the private labs, and they literally incubated me as I went out of the internship. So I went in there, did my BTech and my board exam at the same time. So I was told I was not allowed to do that. I was like, oh hell, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. I did my BTech and my board exam at the same time. Now these two things are quite important. The BTech was a nice to have at that time, but the board exam, the big bad mean board exam. I wrote a lot about it in my book, How to Succeed as a Medical Technologist and a Trainer. I mean, that is just one thing that I must tell you. If you do not pass the board exam as a medical technologist intern, you literally get to earn a student salary up until the point where you actually can earn a qualified salary. So it's really important for us to be able to do that and to also be able to practice independently without supervision, right? So once you pass the board exam, you are a fully qualified medical technologist. So I am a clinical pathology qualified medical technologist, and I love it. So that means I literally have chemical pathology, microbiology, hematology, and at that time, in addition of immunology as well as molecular. So right now it's becoming more prominent, but those parts have always really been subtly contributed in there. So definitely we are within as one of the comments. Please do allow StreamYard to show your name on there so I can call out your name and I can put your comment on the screen there so we can celebrate you. So, so excited. So when I passed my board exam, really, literally, I went through the program twice because I went through with the group. You can write 2 times in March and September for medical technologists. I went in with the group that went before me. So I studied really through the course twice. And then I got a distinction in chemical pathology, and that's when I got discovered by Tshwane University of Technology, where they literally called me in 2 weeks after I passed my board. 2 weeks after I passed my board exam, I started lecturing part-time at TUT in chemical pathology to prepare others for the board exam. And why that was important for me was that there were people in there who, fine, there were others who were writing it the first time, and I really, really loved those because I could help them get through it the first time around. I was a little bit strict on them, but they came out quite okay, and they came out with quite a lot of distinctions, and they are now lab managers. They are like all sorts of things, and I'm really, really proud of them. And they really speak for me. I don't even need to put it in my CV because I have walking CVs, right? I have working CV. These are people who are successful because of the opportunity that they grabbed with both hands. And that was really my role. My role was to guide them so they didn't have to struggle the same way that I did. They didn't have the opportunity to go through that cycle twice like I did. And some of them had failed before numerous times, and then there was a law or a law or policy or something where they said that you only now have a certain number of attempts for you to qualify and write. So with that being said, now there is mothers, there's fathers, there's people who have families that they are responsible for, and they definitely need to put bacon on the table, right? So it was my responsibility to make sure that these families are fed by making sure that these people don't just earn student salaries and they actually earn. Look, somebody might say it's not much, but it is much for someone else. And but getting a qualified salary is definitely much better than earning a student salary for many, many years because you are failing and you keep writing and you're getting frustrated. It's not just about the money, but it's about the pride also that you have. You know, you're now having to be supervised and you've been in the lab for 3 years already. I mean, it's just, and Victimella says there initially I thought I wanted to be a doctor, but later I was like, nope. Emotionally, I wasn't strong enough to interact with patients. It's quite scary. It is. I felt the same way. So I did research, and there it was, biomedical technology. It sounds sexy, doesn't it? Biomedical technology. So I knew what I was getting myself into, apart from, the ka-ching part, right? I know exactly what you mean, Vita. I know exactly what you mean. But I'm really, really excited that we are here. And that was really my transition into now being a technical trainer because I immediately got into the lab and I went through my board exam, and TUT discovered me to be a part-time lecturer for that. Then the company I was working for took me in as a technical trainer. Now the interesting part with the technical training thing is that you almost had to be a senior for a couple of years and then transition into being a technical trainer. I went from like technologist straight into training. So I skipped the senior part of it. So I was not really a senior. But at that time, the job grade for a technical trainer was definitely much higher than that of a senior. They were not obviously reporting to me, but the students were reporting to me, and I was reporting to two departments, the training department and the lab that I was based at. That was actually an auto lab, a chemistry lab, which is funny. I qualified as a clinical pathology medical technologist, but I ended up really being more of a camp special. Things happen. I never really wrote the campaign board exam, but I've helped many of them pass it because I know what I know and I know what I know, right? Right. So definitely, I'm more than open to help anyone else who has to prepare their board exam. That's why we are here. That's why the group is here, and this is just to help others be able to have pride in themselves, to be able to have something where if you just have that piece of paper, it means nothing if you cannot convert that into an actual income. Right, but so I went on from a technical training. I went on now into the most exciting plan. I went into corporate. So I went into corporate, and corporate is, you know, corporate is nice, but corporate is very nice. Corporate is a dog eat dog world. I went into corporate blindly. I had been applying for many years into these companies, company R, company B, company A, company, all these ones, and nothing. I can tell you they rejected me like I was like forget that I was a trainer, forget that I had a BTech, forget that I was smart as I thought I was. Yo, some of them didn't even respond. You know, no response. Have you had that no response? Put in the comments if you've had an application and they didn't respond. Not even we regret. Like at least a regret is like, okay, we saw you, but you don't fit the profile. Total silence. It's like, yo, total silence. The company that I work for now, which is quite amazing, I also have like silence. And then sometimes it's like you get these emails coming through. It's like they pushed a button where they said clear up all the old stuff, right? It was just crazy. But I went into corporate, and this is really when somebody wants to move out of the lab. This is one of the options. So we can definitely talk more about this. So I was an account manager, and how I got in there, I got in with a recruitment agency. And I literally gave them my CV, they polished it up, and then they literally called me up when there was an opportunity, right? So how recruitment agencies work in our field is that we don't need to pay the recruitment agency. The company which hires you pays for the recruitment agency because they do the HR part for them, right? So that's how it works for us. So don't be scared that you have to pay for that. You don't have to. The company that will hire you will actually pay the recruiter. So that's something you can breathe about. Deep breath. Okay, so what is an account manager? Sales, application support, and customer experience that I was in. So basically, the role that I had was a whole mesh, and I loved it because I had a strong training background. So as an application support, I had to do training on the instruments, on the reagents. When there is a tender coming up, literally you go there and speak on the technical aspects of it and how it affects the lab also in the long run and their patients. You talk about turnaround time and all these things and wastage and cost and all of that. So as an account manager in sales and customer experience team, basically what I was involved in, there's a separate acquisition team which goes out and gets new business. And then there is customer experience at this point, which is a post-sale. So there's pre-sales that they hunt, they go out, they get new sales, and then there is post-sales. Once we get the tender, there is someone who needs to look after the customer for that period. If the tender is 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, somebody has to look after that customer so that they are able to renew the contract after that, right? So you don't want to give an opportunity to another company to come into your space. So what you want to do is keep this customer. So that is basically that role as an account manager. Look, the roles will differ from company to company. They will customize them as they wish, but literally they are pretty much similar. They will differ obviously based on where you are. The region I was doing was Gauteng, so that was Gauteng in a 4-hour radius. So I would do all of those ones. That is quite different from what I do now. What I do now is more the whole of South Africa and parts of Africa. So I don't just work with South Africa. Actually, that's quite amazing. So as an account manager, there was really not much of a requirement. They wanted a national diploma, and they said a BTEC would be advantageous. I already had a BTEC, and I was already registered for my master's at that time. You don't need all of that. Just wait. You don't need all of that. All you need is a diploma in medical technology. For me, that those were added advantages because of what I wanted to do. Right. So you need your diploma, it's fine, and your BTEC. Right. So you'll be sorted. You go in as an account manager, or go into sales, or go into application support and customer experience. Right. So you can also do some hotline work or call center work that you can definitely do. I haven't done those, but I was more in the field out there with the customers. I loved really meeting new people, new customers, and traveling around and seeing all these different people. And I have a comment here that says, "You are awesome. I wish I knew who you were. Please grant StreamYard permission so we can see your name." Really, really, really appreciate it. So I really, really love to just share this information. And the reason I love to share so much is because here's my real why. Getting into these places, when I got into this account management position, I can tell you now it wasn't one of the companies that I was looking at, but it was quite an amazing company to be a part of. And I had no idea. I've never touched any of their analyzers. I had never seen what their analyzers looked like. I had no idea. Like literally, it's not like I had worked on the analyzer before. It's not like I had. I'm telling you, they literally loved me for who I am, and they were willing to train me. And everything that I know is what I learned from them. And the most amazing people were my customers. I can tell you now, you don't need to know everything. Your customers will teach you the job. They will tell you, hey, I need you to call me before you come and see me because you can't really do ghost visits. So the company will tell you and train you, but your customers, those relationships that you build, that you make with them in that process, they will get you everywhere. Even if you move from this customer to that customer, they will know you. Even if you move from this supplier to that supplier, the customers are the ones that make you. So remember, these analyzers and all these reagents, most of them are similar. Some of them have similarities here and minor differences here and there, but literally, generally, they're mainly the same, right? So if you look at it, people just coming in and out all the time, but people buy from people. People buy from you. They buy from me because I'm Leah, because I'm unique, because they like me. And there's other customers who just would not buy from me because they don't resonate with me. Oh, she's too loud. Oh, she's too what? Oh, they will always add. If they don't like you, they don't like you. Look, I'm an acquired taste. It takes time for you to like me, but once you do and get to know me, you will like me forever. And there's just some people who will just never like me, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that because I cannot come here and be liked by everybody. But those that I'm here to work with, those who are here to be my friends, those who are here for us to work together and have partnerships and have mentorships and have all these relationships, those I'm willing to work with. So really, I think for me, it was just the most amazing thing to know that I don't need to be liked by everybody. There's a freedom in that, right? So here's the next thing that happened in my life. I got to a point where now things took a turn. My life had always been like this, right? It was like, oh, we are moving, things were moving. I really got the most amazing opportunities. I got the bursaries, I got the early ejections, I got all of these things I got. And then came a point in my life where everything just fell apart. Things fell apart. I got a new boss that me and him really couldn't get along. I then got a child prematurely, and then later found out that she actually has cerebral palsy. So her entire left side was literally not functioning. And then at that time, I literally fell into depression. And so depression is something very close to my heart. And I couldn't cope in my job anymore. And I couldn't smile like I do now. Um, and I couldn't pretend, I couldn't fake it, I couldn't. And being in sales and all of these, you almost have to be out in the customer's face. You have to be nice. You have to look the part. I when I was depressed, I didn't feel like being myself. I didn't feel like dressing up. People have always known me as this nice, hyper, loud girl in these high heels, always looking good, and I couldn't do that. I didn't have the energy to do that. And so eventually I then left diagnostics and then I went back to the lab because I felt like, you know what, I need to recalibrate. As I was there, at some point I thought, okay, let me register for a doctorate because I felt like I needed something that will make me feel like I'm worthy of something. And I literally just found myself going bankrupt, having to deal with the medical bills. These bills are expensive, going to these pediatric neurologists and all of those things. I ended up at a point where I was just feeling sorry for myself, literally feeling sorry for myself. I'm sitting there, I'm like, and all these other companies that I applied to like almost 1,428. I literally counted them and I put it up on a post on LinkedIn. I put it up on my blog. Literally, I tell anybody who's willing to listen what I went through because it really took a lot. And I realized there was no one who was really telling and showing what they went through. I felt like I'm the only person who had a master's degree who was broke and broken and didn't know what to do with my life. I went back into the lab. I was miserable. At some point, I was like, you know, the thing that changed for me was when my child, we were getting visitors, and I said to them, please don't come. And they were really like persistent that they were going to come. And we were at my house in Centurion. We didn't have tissue, like toilet paper. And I came back with one tissue paper. And my child asked me, Mommy, one tissue. So I have two little girls, and the older one's like, Mommy, one tissue. And she was shocked because I usually would buy like a whole bulk of like 12, 48, or however many I can get. And this time I couldn't afford it. And I was like, yeah, that's what we're having. And I got a two-ply tissue because we were having visitors, and I was too ashamed to say that we really don't have enough money for you guys to be there, right? And then I had to like find a way. I literally binge watched on YouTube videos on like motivation, how to pick yourself up, success. How, you know, I went to see people like Lisa Nichols. At some point, Lisa Nichols came to South Africa, and there was a success resource seminar. I had no other money. I literally had to reverse one of my transactions so I can pay for that ticket to go and see Lisa. And that day changed my life. That day I realized, no, I have to change. Three things had to happen that time. Like, I have to get out of my way. I have to stop having excuses for why I can't do what I can do. And I had to find a way to be an example and a voice for those who didn't have a voice. Something had to give. It was like me and brokenness in the same sentence. Not. I worked so hard and I couldn't resonate and I couldn't figure out how I went down that path. I really, it didn't make sense to me because I had worked so hard and I felt sorry for myself and I was angry at the world. I was bitter up until the point where I was like, no, this is this. I stopped. I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna know exactly what it is to do with all these things I know now. But CVs, interviews, yay! It was not because I'm smart. It was because I needed to know that information for myself first, so I can do that for myself and be able to raise my kids. I went through all sorts of drastic things. I have a YouTube video on where I talk about how to get out of debt and what I did to get out of that. I went drastic. Some of you don't have to do that, but I went drastic. I applied like a maniac. I learned all about anything and everything that I possibly could lay my hands on. And now I call myself an expert because I was forced by my circumstances. I was pushed against the wall. I had nowhere else to go but up. I was so down and out. I had no one to talk to. I had no one to show me the way. And I had to find out for myself. And the reason I share my journey, so I share my journey, the journey of becoming Leah Molai, on LinkedIn, on most of my social media, but LinkedIn definitely has my daily journey of becoming Leah Molai, where I share who I am becoming. So I share my struggles, I share my great times, I share the little things I want to do. I'm not even scared anymore. Fear is my friend because I use it to step myself out of the things I don't want to allow myself not to do. I'll say that again. Fear used to hold me back, and now I use fear to propel myself forward. I propel myself forward with fear because I'm like, I've been down before. There is no other way that I can do that again. It's only one way. Whatever goes down must come back up. So I was like, you know what? Because earlier on, I couldn't have that conversation with people who were in my space because for me, things were always easy. I had like, things were flowing, the promotions, everything was happening. And I couldn't resonate and I couldn't understand why people could not relate with me. And now so many people relate with me because everything that I do and everything that I say comes from a place where I know now the only thing I can do is serve. My aim is to serve. My aim is to serve you. My aim is to be able to give that knowledge through to people who are there. You can get any other information off of the website. You can get it from Google. You can get it from YouTube. You can definitely do that. But there is a certain thing that I share personally, and I feel like people can tell when you're faking it. And so all my posts are real. All my posts are really what I feel, how I feel, and what I want to give to other people. I want to have people not to struggle the way I did, but I also don't want to spoon feed people to a point where they don't know how to be resourceful themselves. Hello. My point is to allow you to be able to be resourceful yourself. I'm not here, and the group is not here to feed you information that you can get off of Google. If you ask me a question that you can get off of Google, please go check Google first before you ask me. And the reason I'm saying that is because if I spoon feed you, you will become lazy and you will not be ready. So I only really work with people who are ready because if you are desperate and you say, I'm desperate to get out of here or I'm desperate to, you will be so desperate. I now need to work with you on a mindset level. I do mindset work, but I don't want to do that for someone who is not ready. So you need to put yourself in a position where you say, I've got nothing else to lose. I like people who have been down and out because they know what it's like to be down and they don't want to go back there. And I like people who've never been down. So the book that I wrote was mainly for students who have just come out of university, students who want to know how to move forward because I don't want them to go through what we went through because we went through an era where there was no information. You had to ask people, how do I get into applications? One guy said to me, you need a couple more years in the lab. He was right, but he could have just told me because I tried to look for that information. And I can tell you now to this point, there was an interview that I went to one of these major companies. They rejected me, fine. But I was doing my master's at that time and we met at a conference. How I did my master's, I had both my kids doing my master's. I would set up my experiments, go home, breastfeed, go back to the lab, read my results, come back, breastfeed. That's how I did my with both kids. That's how I did my master's. And so when things happened, the same guy who rejected me, he was a huge the big boss in there. We met again at a conference. It was funny enough an ethical TSA conference where I was presenting my master's work, where I literally specialize in tissue engineering. Really just an amazing experience. And after that, he then prepared me for another interview at another company, and he says, you know what? I knew you had potential, but I really am so upset at myself. This is like the guy who's like big, right? He tells me, he's like, yo, I wish I had put you under my arm because I can see who and what you are. He prepared me. He's like, no, say it like this, don't say it like that, and we were talking about the market, and I'm like, yo, what is the market? Because I had no idea what commercial was at that time, right? And I was so fortunate that even today we are still friends, and literally he agreed to come on one of the lives, and I'm super excited that you guys will be able to see and learn from my very own mentor, from my own coach, because what I wish I knew then is that I needed someone to hold my hand. I needed someone to show me the way. I needed someone, not someone to do the work for me, but someone to show me the potholes to say, hey, don't go there. Hey, don't go there. Maybe try this, right? So the reason I love new, fresh students is that I know they will come into a lab which might potentially be toxic for them. But before they get to be tainted, we need to work on them. We need to work on their mindset. We need to remind them that they don't have to feel stuck, that this is not a dead end job. It's not. You decide what you do with it. I could have sat here and told you I got lucky the first time I got into corporate. But the second time I got in, yeah, I did the work. I did the work. And I can't just say I got lucky the first time because I was literally doing the BTech at the same time, the board exam at the same time, doing masters, being a mother. Like I was doing all of those things and still trying to keep my life. You lose friends as a medical technologist because people just don't understand that you have to work weekends, spend the night at, I spend night shifts. Yeah, I spend nights midnight and it's like New Year's Eve. And my family just could not understand. My friends could not understand. They said to me, no, we're not at the chile. They're like, oh, they literally thought that I love money so much that I'm always working, right? I'm like, I'm always working. And I'm like, no, I'm working to save your lives. I'm working to save my family. I'm working to feed them. And so everything that I do is to serve. And I understand at this very point in time, it's really sad what we have to go through as medical technologists. I truly empathize with those people. And I really have a space for them, but I'm also here to collect and search and sieve out those people who are ready for change. There's people who are ready. There's people who might get tainted a little bit because let me tell you this, you will watch this, you will talk with me, you will have a session with whoever you have a session with, you will go watch a YouTube video, but if you don't take action and if you don't choose your friends carefully, the 5 people you hang around with, I'm telling you, you are an average of them. So maybe I'm just saying, go back into the lab, review who your friends are. You can tell them I told them, you can leave them. Because they're not doing you a favor when you are trying to grow yourself, when you are trying to open your own private practice, when you are trying to grow yourself into a salesperson, an application specialist, a product manager, when you are trying to grow yourself into someone who can speak up for medical technology, when you are someone who wants to write a book, because I know you have a book in your head, when you want to just start a YouTube channel, go ahead and start it. But with the friends you keep, they will shut it down. If you have big dreams and you tell it to small-minded people, they will shut it down. So be careful who you tell your dreams to. I put them out on social media because I find that as my accountability partner. Hello. If I put it out there, it means I must do it. And the other reason I do what I do is to leave clues and advice for my kids. So the day that I'm not here on this living earth, they can go on either Facebook or YouTube or whatever source. They can Google my name and go Leah M. Molai. My kids can go Google my name and found all the articles I've written since 2010. I've been writing articles for CPDs. I've been doing all these things. And I want my kids to have the same advice that I give to you for free for them to have, because I might not be there to answer those questions for them when I'm dead and gone and out of this world. I will be with them as a soul or a spirit, an angel or an ancestor, whatever they want to call me. But they will see my videos, they will see my notes, they will have everything that I offer to everybody else. Because I'm not sure someone else will offer it to them when I'm gone. So I'm leaving this as social proof for them. I'm leaving this as bank for them. They can keep it. And I do what I do to serve. That I had to find out why I do what I do. Because at first, like, no, I'm doing it for myself. I'm trying to figure out how to be more productive. That's how my journey to becoming Leah M actually started on LinkedIn. I wanted to figure out how to be more productive because I got myself into trouble at work. I always do get myself into trouble. I don't know how I managed to do that. I found a way, and this literally it has helped so many people. I couldn't believe it. I was like literally just sharing my story with them. And then I had to later realize that it's actually bigger than I thought it was. And I'm so, so happy that you've managed to give me time into your space, give me time into your world, give me this. It's really something that it means so much to me. There's people who come into the group not knowing what the group is about. There's people who come in just wanting to complain. There's people who want to come in and vent. I understand. I love you guys. We love you. We have so much empathy for you. But you need to decide what it is that you want for your life. You need to decide if you're going to keep complaining forever. And some people will complain forever. And those of you that don't just want to sit and complain and sit with your problems and you actually want to do something with it, I'm inviting you. You can go onto my page, Leah M. Molai, book a free session with me, and we can discuss a way forward for you. And so you can actually start doing something. I will not be doing the work for you, but I will just guide you and probe you with questions and just a way so that you don't have to struggle without knowing what your purpose is, without knowing what your reason for living is. So once you get that right, and you know that you have the power in you, you know whether your higher power is a god, an ancestor, I'm not here to promote any form of religion, but you know what your higher power is. I couldn't have done it on my own. I sure know you can do it on your own. So if you have someone that can hold your hand and guide you and show you, we have a whole host of people in this group that can guide you. What I want you to do is to also be empathetic on the person you're asking the help from, because number one, they owe you absolutely nothing. They don't need to give you the answer. They don't need to tell you how they got in. They owe you absolutely nothing. So don't get upset. Don't be mean. Go on Google also. Go phone HPCSA. Go phone SMLTSA. Go phone that company HR. We can only guide you and tell you who is better to call. But at the end of the day, it's all up to you. And I thank you so, so much for actually being here with us. I'm seeing such amazing comments. And I wish you guys had your names on here. I know what you mean. Fear and depression will paralyze you to the core. And that is absolutely true. And you say, hey, you are truly inspirational. I absolutely appreciate that. Here's another one saying, this is so inspiring. Thank you for sharing. And literally, this is what I wanted for you to know why I do what I do, who I am, what I went through. And this is just to say, it don't matter how much you went down, you can still bring yourself back up. With you and God or whatever your higher power is, you guys can do it. And my final message for you is just that continue forgiving yourself on a daily basis. You are exactly where you needed to be in your life at this very moment. So this group was not a coincidence. The fact that we are here together was not a coincidence. I can tell you now today that you are here for a reason. You are here for a purpose. This was not a coincidence. You needed to be here at this very moment. But I truly, truly appreciate you. So you can definitely go and book yourself a free 30-minute session with me. We can literally, you don't need to commit to anything. You literally just need to bring yourself and say, I'm here. I want to change. There's my social media links on there. You can find me on LinkedIn, Leah M. Molai, on YouTube, the same. And you can find me here on Facebook. If you are a medical technologist, someone in the lab, and you want to be a part of this amazing group, Medical Technologist South Africa, this is where we empower, and we are all about positive energy, and we're all about moving to the next level with people who can push you. Ignore the negative noise. It will always be there. That's why even when you have things going well in life, there will always be things going wrong. The fear will never go away. The fear will always be there, but you push even when it's there. So don't let anyone tell you can't do it. If somebody else could do it, so can you. There's nothing special about anyone else that you don't have. And if you think it's been done before and you can't do it, no one else is you, honey. You have your own story. You have your own talent. You have your own life. I love you guys. Thank you so, so much for being here tonight. I am really grateful. Until next time, we will definitely do this some more. Lots of love.